In this video, we're going to take a look at a purple ink by KWZ Brown Pink. Confusing name, I know. As always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. Also, down in the description is a link to the purple ink playlist, so if you want to see more purples, you can find that there. I'm an ink guy, and let's get into the first writing sample done on 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. Now we have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We do get some shading that's going on very much in the extra fine. Now the extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub, which is helping that happen. The gets to go from light to dark to light. Quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark, light. Such great color variation here. The medium's the same tone as the stub. The extra fine took 14 seconds to dry, while the medium took 17. Medium had no shading. Scrubby for the extra fine shows a little color variation. It is fantastic in the writing though. The medium showed none and the scrubby showed none. The smear test says you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Pelican M800 with a medium nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. We have no bleeding, some minor ghosting. Now we have no halo sheen, no shade for the stub or for the medium, but the extra fine, it's definitely coming through. Look at how it's darker on the K, darker on the he. Brown's going dark to light to dark. Very nice shading with the extra fine. It's also quite a bit lighter than the stub or the medium. Now the extra fine took 19 seconds to dry, the medium took 27 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both aren't showing much for color variation, but the extra fine, it looked good. And the smear test, you can't recover if you smear while you're writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then it's put into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we really see this dark red leaning magenta at the bottom pushing its way up to a very light blue, which is what's giving it that kind of purpley tone. The one on the right that's let dry for 10 minutes before it's put in the water, the most noticeable difference between the two of them is that magenta tone at the bottom is really starting to form a line, but I still don't expect a whole lot of resistance from this ink. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. Now we have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We do get shading with the extra fine. The extra fine's quite a bit lighter than the stub. The medium's the same tone as the stub. For the shading in the extra fine, you get to see how frequently it shifts from dark to lighter to darker. Nice. Darker to lighter to darker, darker to lighter to darker. It's just so nice with the extra fine. 16 seconds to dry. Medium is 20 seconds to dry. The scrubby of the extra fine shows a tiny bit of color variation, but it's way better in the writing. The medium shows none where we had none in the medium. And the smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on a page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it does get a little woolly, it does spread just a little bit, but all of the information is still very much there and very readable, so you could use it in a note-taking situation if you wanted to. I just might not. Water is reactivating. You start seeing a couple spots of the white of the paper coming through. Pen flush is doing everything that water does, acting just a little bit faster, and the 1/3 bleach solution's completely obliterating it off the page. But it only took water to get this out of my pen. The next writing sample is done on life paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. Just like before, the shading only shows up in the extra fine. The medium's the same tone as the stub, and the extra fine's quite a bit lighter than the two of them. Great shading through all of this in the extra fine. The extra fine took 9 seconds to dry, while the medium took 16. The scrubby for both don't show any color variation, but look at the extra fine writing. Awesome. The smear test says you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average viscosity is 2.5, and the realm of normal was 2.1 to 2.9. KWZ's Brown Pink has a viscosity of 2.22, making it normal. If you're interested in how the viscosity tests are done and all of that stuff, then down in the description is a link to that video. Now let's take a look at the next writing sample done on Levenger paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. That's not a bleed spot, that's from a page underneath. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shading at all, not even any extra fine this time. Now the extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub. The medium's the same tone as the stub. Extra fine took 8 seconds to dry, while the medium only took 9. The scrubby for both shows no color variation. We're not getting it, and on a smear test, you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time is 17 seconds, and the realm of normal was 13 to 21 seconds. KWZ's Brown Pink has an average dry time of 19 seconds, making it normal. The last writing sample is done on Franklin Christoph paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade shows up in this. It's a bit more absorbent paper. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub, where the medium's the same tone as the stub. The extra fine took 7 seconds to dry, and the medium took 8. Scrubby for both shows no color variation, and we're not getting any. And the smear test, still, you could recover if you smeared while you're writing. This is a great ink for students. Instead of finding inks that look like KWZ's Brown Pink, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I do like putting green inks with purple, and this one is from Herbin, Vert, Reseda. If you'd prefer a different complement color, then down in the description are links to those playlists. So what do I think of KWZ's Brown Pink? It's not brown or pink, but it is a great purple. I'm confused by the name, but love its color. It's well behaved, and most important, the color. It's not just an ordinary purple, and it is so nice. So what nib and pen will give the best writing experience with this ink? I really like how it looks out of a medium flow fine pen. You get a very nice tone and some great shading all the way through. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video, we're going to take a look at Diatramentis Document Fog Gray.